Croeso to GreenWales, the channel celebrating the people, businesses and projects building a greener, fairer Wales. Every week we speak to organisations creating real solutions aligned to the Future Generations Act and the UN Sustainable Development Goals, helping Wales lead the way in sustainability and innovation. Let's meet today's guest. Hello, how you doing? Would you like to introduce yourself and who you work for, please?
I'm Ellen. I work for the Community Impact Initiative.
Lovely to meet you.
Thank you very much. Lovely to meet you. Thank you for coming in.
And if you haven't guessed already, everybody at home, we're on a building site. We are literally, I've got my high vis, I've got my steel toe cap boots on. We're doing all the health and safety. So during the video, we might hear an impact driver. We might hear a circular saw. We might hear other people having a chat and a laugh, because that's what building sites are all about. And doing expert work at the same time. Where are we? Can you tell us where we are?
We're in Dowlais.
Okay.
We're on our Sustaining a Legacy project.
Okay.
Yeah. We're in...
What's the house? How big is this home that we're currently in?
Oh, this is...
It's a big one, isn't it?
It's massive. Yeah. I like to say it looks haunted. At the moment, anyway.
Feels haunted.
It feels haunted.
Yeah.
Haunted. Yeah, so it's 3 stories. I think it's like 4 or 5 bedrooms.
Yeah, it seems like a big old building.
Yeah.
We're in the basement here, and it's probably nearly as big as my house. I have a terraced house, but it feels big. It just shows you the sort of projects you've got going on.
Yeah.
And just a really quick one, how many other projects have you got like this running across Wales?
So we've got one more project, and that's based in Barry. That's
amazing.
Our Women's Construct Wales project. So it's a solely women's project for them to build skills and have a community.
Underrepresented, skilling people up and making it gender neutral. Yeah, boy. Giving access to people.
Represent.
Every week, we have a list of questions we give to everybody. It's always the same. We're consistent. The variety of answers and the variety of approaches are amazing. And that's the biggest surprise to me, is how people answer it. And I think it's because the Future Generations Act can be taken in such different ways. And that's part of its broad success, is because it can just be adopted to an organization. It's not just an IT consultant. It's not just a third-party accreditation company. It's not just a charity. It can literally be taken in so many different types of ways. Last week I was with Microacre Wales, and their take was phenomenal. And the week before that, I think it was Grow Rhondda, and their take before that was fantastic. We've been with a forest school, and their take was completely different, because they are like platinum for their forest school sort of side, and they're a case study for Welsh Government, because they're like one of the best forest schools in Wales.
I only recently heard about forest schools.
Oh my God, if the forest schools... I know. I know, right? But sadly, the Future Generations Act was not there for us. It wasn't active when we were kids. But I think when I was a kid, about 10 years ago now, it's about 10 years, Future Generations Act's been going. Maybe this is its 11th year now, but what it's achieved and what it's done since it's come into action is phenomenal. And I think people just don't see the tangible thing of the Future Generations Act, which is why this channel exists. We're going out there to see it actually embedded, find those examples. That also hopefully helps you guys become into prosperity, brings awareness, so governments, funding bodies, councils can see you guys then and actually see that you are aligned to these sorts of things. And this channel is all about helping everybody become more prosperous, more aligned, and more developed towards the Future Generations Act. So, shall we begin?
We shall.
It felt like I waffled a bit then. So, yeah, again, there's no pressure. We never say any pressure. If people have got notes, please look at notes. It's a chat as well, so we can, obviously, I can jump in. And sometimes I do get a bit too passionate for my own good. Do you?
I'm exactly the same.
Oh, great. This is going to be riveting. So... I'll help. No, I'm only joking. So the first question is, how does your work contribute to a more sustainable and prosperous Wales? And which future generations or SDG goals is support? And we say which SDG or future generations because the Sustainable Development Goals are born, or the Future Generations Act is born through the Sustainable Development Goals of the UN. So some people are a bit more aligned to the UN Sustainable Development Goals, but normally, if you're aligned to the Future Generations Act, you're also aligned to the Sustainable Development Goals. It's like a bonus.
Yeah.
So we're going to go to Future Generations Act? Please go.
So we, the CI is about regenerating empty homes rather than building anew and having them as housing solutions. And through that, we also support people to prioritise their well-being, whether that's sort of career aspirations, training opportunities, even just like being part of a community, whatever they it's very sort of person-centered. So whatever they come to us with a goal in mind, we'll do everything we can to support them with that.
Yeah.
And whether that means working with other people or being able to do it in-house. So a lot of like skills building, obviously, as well, retrofitting. Learn. As you can see.
Yeah.
This is not how it should look.
This is not the finished article. This is not the finished article.
It would be a long way off finished article.
Yes, no, it's fine. It is looking great, Don. You can see your first fixes in.
Yeah.
So second fix is coming along if you have a building head.
Yeah, it's been a long one, this one, only because, like I said previously, it's opening a bag of worms, this one.
Yeah.
So it started out, it looked awful from the get-go, but when we started sort of taking back the layers, realised how much damage has been done to this house. It's been derelict for a long time. I think there was one person living here but only lived in like one room a year, so the rest of the house had been very neglected. And that's something that we look for, are the houses that need sort of inside out regeneration. The ones that are gonna go to waste, because empty homes is a massive problem.
Yeah, they say about the housing market being so constrained, but there's a lot of derelict houses out there that they're just in such poor disrepair. People can't take those projects on, but it's a fantastic opportunity, isn't it?
And it's a much more sort of sustainable option to housing solutions than building anew. So that's something that as a company, we embed massively into our culture and our values, is sustainability. But along with that is sort of the well-being side of things.
Yeah.
So it's not just about the properties, it's about like the community that we can also impact and bring sort of positive change to as well. It's
positive social change to the environment, isn't it?
Yes.
If it's a derelict house, and this is a big house, you could see that it could be used for antisocial things. So the fact that you're repairing that in the community feels that investment, doesn't it, from you guys doing what you're doing.
Like, we've all been on streets where you kind of walk past a house that's very clearly derelict. And it just kind of brings the whole thing down.
It's that broken window syndrome, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You see it and you go, oh God, there's another one.
It's another one.
There's another one. And we've got I think when I was doing research on it, I think there's like 1.2 million empty homes in the whole of the UK. And it far outweighs the sort of the need for housing as well. So it's like, why are we not doing this? Why is this not more invested in? And
you think you could buy a terraced house, and I think people have got used to, or starting to get used to the idea of one person doesn't only need a 3-bedroom house. They'd be happy with a flat, partly because of running costs.
Yeah.
Running costs are so high these days. Yeah. You can't even afford to have a 3-bed house and do nothing with it,
That's it,
or just sleep in one room, have one room as an office,
Yeah,
so you could buy a 3-bed house and have 2 luxury flats. So then you're making 2 properties out of one.
Yeah, exactly. There's more housing or more more housing for people that need it then.
And with so the work contributes to a sustainable, prosperous Wales by creating the housing stock, putting prosperity back into that local environment and creating opportunities for people then to make something for themselves.
Yeah, exactly. So with this project specifically, it's called Sustaining a Legacy.
Okay.
And as I've said, it's part of our sort of core values is sustainability and well-being. This kind of wraps it up in a nice bow, really, because through this project, we support local people to come in, and they're guided by our tutors that are like ex-trades people who've been in the game for
I think I've just seen one walking back and forth behind the camera. I love it.
That was our Jason.
Yeah, great.
So they get guided by ex-trades people. They honestly talk jargon sometimes. I have no idea what they're talking about. But
in some ways it's better because they're not in a college environment. They're in a real world environment. And they're going to be shown those tips and tricks that you probably would have access to into college, you'd hope so. But it's just that further step in. And as you say, that jargon can be quite intimidating for somebody coming into the industry.
Yeah, 100%. And what's really good, like all our tutors are brilliant at, they're so patient. So like you could have someone who has never touched a tool in their life. Me. I barely knew anything about DIY or anything construction related, but you can just be like, if they're talking and they'll say like an abbreviation or something like that, like, what do you mean by that? And then they'll take time to sort of explain it to you, and it's this environment that people are allowed to make mistakes.
Yes.
And they know they've got that support to rectify that mistake. So if they do something, our tutor's there on hand straight off the bat to sort of go, okay, this is what you did wrong. This is how we can improve it. So that's like the practical skills building side of things. But it's also with this, with sustaining a legacy, it's specifically geared to teach people how to make sort of environmentally or eco-friendly house renovations. So they can see it from this. What's great about this sort of building goes from the inside. It goes from the actual bare bones to something that's going to be high grade efficiency wise.
That's brilliant. I think sometimes, you know, what turns people off from doing efficiency in their house is the extra cost. But when people can measure that out, see the work and see, because what I find is when you're doing sustainable renovations, you're actually looking after the building's fabric much better. So instead of like putting a really cheap kitchen in or putting whatever in as quick as you can, which will actually in 10 years be gone because it'll discolor, it'll fall apart, it'll crack. You'll be putting like a lime mortar on instead or something different. I know there's a company called Wool Insulation Wales. Link's going to be somewhere here, okay? I like to plug any company I possibly can that's based in Wales because that's all about what we're trying to do. Yeah. They're not on the channel yet. So this is, I'm going to mention them now, so please come on the channel, where they use, they give farmers, I think it's 400% more value to their wool than they put that, and they've developed a product that does all the insulation. So instead of using insulation bats, common one, you can now use sheep's wool. That also locks away 50% of the carbon of that product. So it lowers your footprint as a building. So it has lots. So if you have biodiversity net gain on your building, if you use their product, you have less to do. So it kind of offsets the cost. And they're based in Neath.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, please do. Please do. But this is part of what the channel is. It's about connecting people to people, you know. We had a chat with, I was saying about the school, and then we talked about Migrate Wales. They want to do a schools program. Well, now we've gone, well, I know exactly who your first person is going to be. Because if they're Welsh leading in Wales as a good project, well, let's link you two together. They both become more prosperous. And we're laughing with the flower industry. I was talking to Coffee Flowers, one of the first interviewees. They have a floristry where they have a farm, which is literally a floristry farm based in Tonrevel. That's beautiful. Yeah, it's amazing. I went there and I think it was in January, so it wasn't like, there was all flowers there.
Stark contrast.
Yeah, well, pretty, you know, when there's nothing in the ground, or there was something in the ground, but nothing was growing. But I went to a planting workshop with them a couple of weeks ago, you know, and then they did a collaboration project with Playing Against Sport. And I think the big thing for the future generations is collaboration. Yeah. So working with different people and working with each other, and that's how it all comes together. 100%. So Wool Insulation Wales. Okay. I remember that. There we go. I didn't mean to do that. It just happened. We're in a construction site. I don't think I got any more of those little cherries to pick out right now. So let's move on to the second question. So it says, you sort of answered this, is what do you actually do and how is it helping Wales move towards a net zero or circular thinking? So we've sort of touched on that a little bit. So an example would be Wool Insulation Wales. We just talked about and joining that connection together. So maybe that's something, but maybe the net zero, maybe the more sustainable home. So you're not just doing a normal house and flipping it as quick.
Yeah, exactly. So talking about this project, like I said, we do sort of give people those skills to do home renovations. But as you said, a lot of people can't afford that. Yeah. It's about making sort of engaging with sustainability and engaging in sort of eco action more accessible. So with that, we'll also do things like eco talk. So we'll talk about everyday things that we can do to be more energy efficient. Even if it's just switching off plugs, things like that. Things that people
standard habits.
Yeah, that even save money. Yeah. That help people to not actually spending money because cost of living, we can't always do that.
It's prevention as well. And that's one of the, that's part of the future generation preventions. If you're preventing people from even making expensive choices because it all mounts up, then, and that's what this is about, is prevention. And I really want to chuck it in there because I really feel passionate about this as in part of question 2, that circular thinking. And it's a really weird one. It's what this building's going to be. This isn't going to be a house. No, this has got a much bigger purpose, which I think is amazing for Wales generally, and it's that healthier part of Wales, a part of wellbeing for generations. Again, it's prevention and looking after people. It's collaboration. Please tell me some more. My God.
So what we really are trying to set up is a circular economy with other organizations, whether it's material suppliers, whether it's other social organizations, even waste disposal. You know, we're trying to set these partnerships up and set this sort of network up. That, you know, we can divert any surplus waste from things like suppliers or other building sites that aren't using them from landfill. So everything is reused, you know, as much as we can. If there's anything that we pull out of this house that is reusable, we'll try and reuse it. Yeah. And then, you know, if anything is not used on this project, then it's either used back into the next project that we have, or we'll donate it to other social organizations. Yeah. So it's kind of trying to build, like, connect those dots together, because there's so much stuff that goes to waste that, you know, while social organizations like us are sort of trying to work with strict budgets, things like that. Of course. There's waste there. Just of course it is. It's the answers right always good. It's a construction site, isn't it? Yeah. Exactly. So it's kind of like trying to make sure those materials aren't wasted, and then when it comes to, like, waste disposals, making sure whatever is not used, because there's always going to be a little bit of batten, a little bit of this, a little bit of windowsill, rotten things that we can't reuse. And just making sure those are sort of recycled, or like sustainably, or responsibly sort of gotten rid of. And not, again, just dumped in landfill to rot. So we try and build even down to waste disposal, trying to make sure that's... Do you know, there's a random one for you. There's a company that recycles hard hats. I should find that out for you. I'm not sure what they're called. Maybe I'll try and, again, I will put the link so I get somewhere. They did it in my old job. They did it where they collected the hard hats and then recycled them, so they didn't go to landfill. Oh, nice. So there's stuff for that. So remind me, and I will give you that link. The hard hats that we do have, they were donated to us because they were only used, or most of them came in their packaging, and they were just ordered for things like site visits. Yeah. So that used maybe one. No use. No use at all. Same with this lovely jacket. Very splash. Very nice. It's all donated to us. You know, it's all really important health and safety equipment. Obviously, we buy things like boots new, things like that. But when it comes to reusable stuff, we work with our partners that work with other sites that have site visits, never use them, and they'll donate them to us, which helps with cost for us so much. I think it shows for me, you know, many years ago, I was a carpenter with my father. My dad was a carpenter, so I was his labourer. And it just shows how far things have come in 20 years. You know, I was completely changed. Yeah, it's still changing, and it's still got a lot of changing to do. But the progress the building industry has had to make, you know, it's definitely making. And projects like this are really good at embedding that. And again, you're bringing people in from the surrounding area who haven't had the opportunity, and you're actually giving them a really good start. Yeah, exactly. And it's also sort of showing them green jobs as well. So one thing that we realized with the eco talks came from the fact that a lot of sustainability talk, things like that, isn't very accessible. Again, it's jargon busting. People don't know what circular economy. I didn't know what circular economy meant. You might already be doing it. Yeah, exactly. Don't know it, but it's like the Future Generations Act. It's exactly the same. People don't realise they're doing it. Exactly. And that's what part of this journey is about, is going, you are, and I'm empowering you because you actually are. You are. Yeah. You know you're doing it. And it's like, oh, I'm actually engaging in that. It's not this far away thought that it seems like just people talk about, and 100%. I don't understand what it's doing. But it's like people don't realise it's happening in real time, and they're doing exactly that. So again, things like, you know, switching off your electricity and things like that. It's all little things that people have been doing that then it's like I said, it's empowerment then, but it's also talking about green jobs. It's looking, especially because we work with a lot of young people, it's sort of showing them that there's opportunities, a real genuine job opportunity as well. I had, I was trying to look my pocket then. I got a high-vis jacket and the pocket's not available. I should. I'm stuck. I know. I'm so sorry. I want to try, because I've got my new badges on today, and one's a Future Generations Act badge. And one's a GreenWales badge. Remind me, I've got one for you. Represent? Because you come on the channel. Yeah, right. So I get distracted. I forgot what I was going to say now. It's completely gone. What were you just saying? Oh, yes, I'm with you. Right. So I had solar. I've saved for years. I had solar and batteries installed last year. And when I was chatting to the guys who did the panels were people who do roofs. So the roofers, and now I've got a completely different trade that they never had before, which is their green trade. The electrician,
does all the inverters and does all of that sort of stuff and wires that through us. Completely different trade, but it's a green job.
Yeah.
And I think the big thing now, we're past the point of where leaders, sustainable leaders, do everything. Now it's about embedding it throughout everybody's roles, everybody that does everything, because that's how we get to the next stage. If I have stand up on stage and have an hour-long speech, but no one connects to it, there's no point, you know? Yeah. And now that we're at the point of, and this is where I get really excited. Look where we are. Yeah. You know, we're in a building. You're talking sustainability to me. It's clearly happening.
It's
you know, and then you're
relevant for people, isn't
it? And you know, sometimes the issue is, you said the lecturers, the leaders you have here, because their generation wasn't part of that sustainability. That's where it can not fall downside, but the struggles can be. But they've got, well, I've always used this type of insulation because that's what I've always done. And I think people are habitual, you know, and I think it's really important now to try and this has got to be incremental as well. It's going to be incremental change. If you go, right, we're going to completely rip up the book, how you've built everything all your lives, it's going to be complete. You're not going to touch any of these things anymore.
I'm scared of change.
They are. And I think incremental is the way. And if they go, oh, actually, this, for some reason, wool insulation is becoming a big thing on this interview. But this wool insulation, it's not, because when I put, I'm trying to think, the bats I used to put in, I won't name a company or anything, but I used to put these insulation bats in, which I've seen being used here. They're terrible for your health because I think they've got glass in them. Like glass dust. So you've got to wear a mask. It's really itchy. It's not a nice material. Well, imagine if you used wool instead. Yeah,
it's a much more natural material.
And it takes out pollutants as well. And it's fire retardant. Wow. You owe me money. No,
like wool insulation.
I do. I know. I've been stalking wool insulation whales for like 4 years now. And I just think what they do is amazing. But we're in a building site and I can just use them as a good example today. So,
in touch.
Yeah, get on the channel. I've reached out once. I'll reach out again. So what challenges have you faced and how do those challenges affect the next generation coming through in Wales? So what sort of challenges are you having as a business here?
So I think the biggest challenge for us is balancing that social impact we're having with the rising costs of, especially when it comes to sustainable resources and materials. There's that sort of balance, and especially to scale. So obviously this is one of our biggest projects.
It's massive. I can see it costs a lot.
Yeah, it's balancing that, and it's making sure that those sort of rising costs don't affect as well our volunteer experience. So like we'd never want that that's like one of our biggest,
undermine your project.
Exactly. Like I said, it's not all about the property, it's about the people we're working with as well, and we'd never want to sort of cut that or sacrifice that or compromise that in any kind of way. So it's trying to balance that. Talk about the sort of future generations and like how does it sort of affect them essentially, isn't it? So I think when it comes to things like retrofitting, as we discussed, why are we not doing it more? Why is it not funded more? Why is it not supported more rather than building a new, which is miles worse?
The carbon footprint's much more bigger, isn't it?
Yeah, the carbon footprint is huge. So it's like, why are we, when we've got all these empty homes, not doing that? So the funding is a sort of an issue that we're not addressing that.
You know, instead of building all these new housing estates, like there's been a lot of development on floodplains, you know, and the drainage system's not being linked up, or the infrastructure not being updated, or the GPs and the schools not being built to go with these as part of the infrastructure. You're saying, why don't we just use the dilapidated building stock what we have already? And that's an issue that you can see, which then through projects like yourself, you can be transparent. It's like, I sort of view it as a bit of like DIY SOS today. I love it because you go into a community, you're not doing it in 24 hours like they do, but because you have you're training people up, you're taking people on the journey, you're taking the local society with you on that journey as well, you're getting buy-in, and that must have so many different effects to the community and to the wider region of what you're trying to do here. So I can see that being an issue for you guys of why aren't we doing it more? Why aren't we funding it more? And where is the support?
It's having that sort of forethought and that future thinking as well. So like I said, we balance that retrofit with the skills building, and in a world where we're having major skills shortage issues, especially in construction, we're trying to like marry those two up, because without that, the future generations are sort of risking a world of environmental crisis and a sort of jobs crisis. It's trying to be a solution to very big issues that are growing
Yeah.
And it's trying to get the future generations also involved in that.
Yeah.
Not just fix it. It's actually being an active part of that. So like with the climate action and things like that, trying to get them really into it and like see that they are already doing it and that they can continue doing that.
Sort of inspire them towards their action as well.
Yeah, exactly. While also like sort of building a future.
You know, you've said something that struck a chord with me. And I think this is where forest schools come into handy. It's just like, if you think about when we were in school and college, if you don't touch construction, have no construction experience, and when I say just hands-on basic maintenance, just learning how to use a drill, learning how to cut something, you know, you are at the mercy of everything else around you then. And that means your house could become dilapidated and you have no idea that it is becoming dilapidated, or you feel powerless to do anything about it because you just don't have the money to pay people to come and do it.
That's it.
I was lucky, you know, I had a father who's a carpenter and I was brought up as a labourer, and then I went into theatre and did construction and all the rest of it. And I can tell you that without that experience, I would not have been able to have the house that I've got, because I could only afford the house that I had because it was knackered, to say the least.
Polite way of putting it.
Derelict, borderline derelict. It had water, that's about it. And I moved in within 2 weeks. So it took me 7 years to do it up. It took me that long because, and no risk, because I had a father who was very good. And he donated a day a week for 7 years, pretty much. Very much so. Don't get too cocky, father. He's good, though. He's good. But I'm lucky. I'm one of the lucky ones. And I think if everybody now goes to forest school and gets those practical skills, and I think secondary school becomes really important then, of going, okay, well, I know the forest school I visited, they learn how to light fires. They learn kindling. They learn how to grow. They know these skills will come after them. I was lucky because I left theatre, COVID happened, give me the time. I go, no, I'm going to grow my own food, you know, and I'm just lucky that all happened. And I've seen the benefit, and that's took me along my sustainable journey. But actually what we're trying to do is give everybody that sort of start in life, so they get their forest school, hopefully they get some construction experience, and that means then a community is more resilient, and it can see collaboration and why it's really important,
exactly,
and that brings back community at the same time.
100%.
Ooh. That's so exciting.
Even if they don't pursue it as a an employer job, that's not what all this
it gives you confidence as well, doesn't it? As a person, you go, I can do more. And especially when we're in the day where we all look at computers and we look at screens and we're looking at amazing people, the anxiety that can give you, be like, how can I do that, you know?
It's really giving, that's what a lot of the feedback we get from people who may not be pursuing it as a job, is they actually finally have the confidence. And it's not just in their practical skills, it's in themselves as well, because they're doing something they've never done before, that they're completely newbie to, but because they've been able to prove to themselves that they can do it, it sort of transfers to a lot of other things in life when it comes to the confidence side of things.
And it creates like artisans and cottage industry. I like the word cottage industry because if you think cottage industry is like tool makers, like small industry, ceramic artists, you know, people who are artistically driven to build something. So it's not like a carpenter or a plumber, they're a tradesperson, but the cottage industry is everything else. And they're the micro SMEs. And there's a stat out there, and I was looking at it again this morning. So out of the entire economy of Wales, 95% of the entire economy is SME, which is small business. And I was like, how much of that is micro? And micro is 0 to, I think it's 0 to 7 or 0 to 5. And it's like 80% of that is that. You know, so it shows you that the entirety of Wales is exactly what we're seeing here. And in a lot of ways, you could say that's cottage industry, that's self-employed people, as in like, you know, tradespeople all trying to do the same thing. And the way that it works better is by collaborating with each other.
Yes.
So you can see how that works.
100%.
Oh my God, I love that question. So I think I did this for you a little bit earlier on with my... So I'm not going to get involved in this one because I can't be plugging them anymore. They're not paying me, not much. Okay. It's not about being paid, it's about sharing the love. Where do you see opportunities for collaboration across Wales?
Huge opportunities. I think a lot of untapped opportunities as well, whether it's between whether it's between social organisations, local authorities, housing associations, suppliers, like I said earlier, waste disposal. Sort of if more of us had that circular economy way of thinking and building those networks, and for us sort of the community-led regeneration, so involving the community, not just like, I think that's one of the most important things, is keeping it in the community. with that working together, we can sort of reduce whales. No, we're not.
Please don't reduce whales. Go to make whales more prosperous.
Reduce waste.
Yeah.
And sort of bring Wales into that more green economy. And yeah, like I said, all while supporting the community well-being, individual and community-wise.
And I think as well, when people think, I always think partnerships, collaboration. Partnerships, when you come in, do something, you leave. Collaboration is going, I've got the venue. You go, I've got the workforce. Yes. You go, oh, I've got the energy. I've got the money to pay for this. I've got the workshop leader. Yeah. And then together, everybody makes something better. But it's that's the risky part, I think, for people at the moment is they want to collaborate, but it's risky for them because they're collaborating. Yeah. They're giving a bit of the, I'd say, USP, unique selling point, up to a certain extent. Yeah. And they could end up undoing itself. But I think anybody I've seen collaborate has only benefited massively from it. Yeah. And I think for yourselves, you've got the initiative, you've got the type of way of working, what you need is someone to come to go, I've got a property for you. I bought that property for you. Here's a budget to do that property up. You bring the people in, you bring the social value, because that's the thing. Do you measure your social value?
That's Abby deals with our social value.
I'll be asking her.
Yep. So much for Abby.
Because the social, that's amazing. Abby, you're having it. No, but the social value on a project like this, it's going to be huge. It's going to be huge because if you've put, I don't know how many boys you've got working, I've met 2 of them already, but if they were unemployed and didn't have qualifications, etc., and this gets them into a college, which gets them into a job, that saves so much money. They become healthier for it. They become more prosperous, more resilient.
That's one of the huge things that we do sort of measure. It's really hard to measure something like that because it's a lot of it
takes time.
Yeah, and it's you can't quantify it a lot of the time, apart from when we talk about not in education or training, a lot of people move from that, so not in employment, education or training, and they move to being either in employment or education or sort of like training. We see that, I think it's over, I can't off the top of my head, but I think it's over sort of 3/4 of all our participants. Yeah, so last year we had, I think it was 153 people join us.
Wow, that's a lot more than I thought, to be honest. That's amazing.
Because we had 3 different projects running the whole of last year. Yeah. And yes, we had 153 people join us, and 3/4 of those went from being not in employment or education to going into some form of employment or training. It doesn't, like I said, it doesn't have to be in construction. That's not all we're here for.
You're still giving them the skills.
That's it.
The work ethic.
The confidence to even go for it. So we had one participant a couple of projects ago, and she came from a hard background, and she didn't have the sort of either social connections or the confidence to even try go for a job.
She's been put down so much, bless her.
Exactly. And sort of by the end of the project, she was working in a cafe and absolutely loved it. And like that sort of stuff is what
I'm glad I wasn't there, because I would have cried my eyes out. I'd be like, oh my God, so good.
I don't know how I do it.
Oh my God.
I'm like,
no, but that just gives you the passion, isn't it? And that's why you do what you do, is because it gives you the passion, because you see the results.
And I think, with the sort of collaborative working as well on that sort of frame of mind is making sure it's meaningful and it's not just ticking a box, like you said, and making sure it's not you scratch my back, I scratch yours.
It's
towards an ultimate goal of sort of, in this case, making a greener Wales, sort of improving.
That's the goal.
That's the goal. Or if you're looking at sort of community well-being, the goal is the community, not what we can get out of it.
As you say, if it's a scratch, back.
Yeah, where I think sometimes it gets lost. Yeah. And I think there's that sort of pressure to what people see as a tick box, and it's not a tick box exercise, especially things like social value. I think we are moving away from that train of thought. There's so much more collaboration. Like, I go to a lot of networking events and talk to a lot of people, and it's not just saying things for the saying things sake.
It's not a talking shop.
That's it. It's actually people are really galvanized, really into making sure that they can.
It's like a mini revolution right now, isn't it? If you grab it properly, it is like a revolution, because it has to be one.
It's coming away from that traditional sense of business and, what can I get out of it? And it's going,
jobs for the boys.
That's it. Yeah, there's a lot of things going kind of wrong at the moment. How can we fix it? How can we make it better? Because communities are struggling. How can we help them?
Do you think as well, and this is what I keep seeing, because there's such a strain on finances at the moment, people are being forced to collaborate. So people who would never normally have collaborated because they've always had the money, they've always had that thing, they're now going, actually, I need to collaborate now. And then as soon as they do it, they're going, oh, actually, this is a good idea.
Yeah, and it's that sort of thing where it's like, it starts off a bit of a
reluctantly,
muggy intention, and then it morphs into something else. And they're like, oh, hold on, this is actually brilliant.
Yeah.
And it's like it was saying, when you hear these stories of people, it really like gets you like emotionally, and you're like, oh, actually, no, I really care about I care about it anyway. But when you,
of course,
but when you actually hear it from how it's really impacting,
it's literally seeing the work that you've done and the people that it's impacting.
Sort of out there thought anymore.
It's just not, and it's not a tick box exercise where you just come in and go, I've got a white clipboard. Have you had your GCSEs today? You know why? I don't think they call GCSEs anymore. I'm so old. Okay, let's move on. I know. God, just don't weep too much. I'll show my wrinkles. No, I'm joking. Sorry. That's why you're so far away. So this is the last popular question, then we got a nice bonus one at the end. Now everybody's going on break right now as well, so we're gonna let them be on break, and they're gonna have a cup of tea and a bit of biscuit and all the rest of it. Is that who I think it is? But there,
Abby.
Yeah,
it is.
She's got questions to answer. Abby, do you measure social value?
Yes.
Good. She said yes, by the way.
Yes.
She's on the mic. I'm okay, thank you. I've had my coffee, thank you. We're filming right now the episode, but social value, because all the people you've got working here, you can see there's an immense amount of social value. So I might want to. I'm gonna scratch you a little bit later. I say scratch you. I'm gonna ask you some questions later. All right.
I forgot doing it. Sorry.
Don't worry. No, we'll have a chat. Sorry. Yes. She's over there. I don't know if you can hear her. So the last question is, when you think 20 years ahead, what does a thriving green economy look like? And how will young people feel the impact of the decisions you made today? I love it. Big, chunky, good words.
Yeah, I love it. So in 20 years, I see a thriving Welsh green economy as one where sort of community-led regeneration is the norm.
Yeah.
And sort of we have local supply chains, networking. We're all working together to sort of minimize that waste.
Yeah.
And we're also seeing more sort of young people engaging in sustainability and seeing it as a genuine sort of meaningful career. And just getting really into it.
So literally what we got here today, and that's all the conversation has led us, it's across Wales. There's a hub.
Yeah.
So when you do have that waste, it just goes to a hub. And I guess, so instead of you having to call up multiple people right now and go, I've got this 16 battens or whatever, and you're trying to find people, it just goes to a hub and it goes out. Like you got people going, we've got 10 empty homes right now. Who wants these empty homes?
Like I said, we've got there's so much waste in these huge construction places. Where they don't know where to put it either, and it's because that infrastructure is missing. It's sort of working together with these in these industries, these local authorities, working together to make that infrastructure there so they can have somewhere to give waste. And like I said, it helps not-for-profits and social enterprises like us when we're working with limited budgets. The answer's right there.
And if they set it up already where they know their housing stock, they know where the most amount of poverty is in the area, and they go, right, we've got, I just make it up, 2,000 homes we need, and they have a hub then when they just drop those homes in and go, right, you pick the houses you want, you pick the house, you've got a budget to do it up. As I said, you're not going to sell it for a huge profit margin after, you're going to sell it in a responsible way, and that helps and alleviates poverty then, and I think it's because the indirect benefits of all these things, by you doing that and by that person buying the house, that does, for them, they don't go, that doesn't immediately give you a 30k job. That doesn't take you off dependency of the NHS. But actually it does, because long-term effects of doing these things are much more beneficial to people than people living in a damp ridden home.
It's all linked.
Paying it's nearly £1,000 a month for rent. If they've got a mortgage that's affordable and it drops it to 400, well, guess what? They can buy a car, which means they can get a job, which means they can afford
all of our sort of experiences, our opportunities, it's linked to things like our health, everything.
It is all interconnected.
This is why we're trying to sort of close that gap for people, by investing in their skills and sort of developing these spaces and designing it around the community. Like I said, in 20 years' time, we're hoping that those future generations are sort of inheriting that stability, both for themselves and
the economy as well.
Environmentally, they have those opportunities as well, because it's one thing that's missing is that opportunity. So it's like in 20 years, hopefully they've got that stability and that opportunity. That's what we're working towards anyway.
Yeah, and I've had many conversations with people, and what we are seeing is actually, from when I was a kid, and probably not from, we have moved a long way in the last 10 years. We have done. The last question is, who would you recommend that we go and see next? Who's doing a good job in Wales? Ooh. Who do you think, oh my God, come and look at these guys.
Yeah, there are so many out there.
That's good to hear.
Yeah.
That's good to hear.
I should say, would shout out the guys over at GreenSpace SOS.
GreenSpace SOS, great.
Yeah, so we've worked with them, or like had this worked them and supported what they do. Mm-hmm. For God, even before I started working here. And what they do is basically they create and maintain outdoor spaces.
Okay.
Whether it's the sort of like private in people's homes or in communal spaces. They sort of really, and from talking to the guys, they really understand the importance for our mental health, especially for us to have these spaces, where there is a lot of building and, all this.
Yeah, there's a lot of concrete.
Yeah, very very
brutalist concrete everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. These spaces, these very green spaces, these nice spaces to be in, it helps us with our, not just on our own mental health and our well-being, it is community-wide as well. Mm-hmm. And they really sort of embody that.
Biodiversity pockets as well, because you've got little small green spaces dotted throughout a brutalist concrete architecture. Those bees, the invertebrates, it's all the flora and fauna. It's the noises as well of the birds singing.
Yeah, you just love that. I know I do. I love these.
I live right by a farm for a reason, because I need to listen to the Tony Owls.
Yeah.
And when I hear Tony Owl, I'm like, I think my blood pressure just drops, because I just go, I feel connected.
Feel nice,
but if I was in a city and all I hear is trains all the time, I think I
live in a city and I have a garden, and then in the garden next door is a tree, and I always hear the birds singing in there. And I just, when I'm outside, I'm like, this is calm. Yeah. This is nice.
It's a nice space, isn't it?
It's just serotonin.
And I think these days when we can technically not escape work to a certain extent. You can work from home. You don't get that escape like you need, like you used to. So actually green space is far more important than it used to be. Because people, when they go to these green spaces, they have really good Wi-Fi now. They didn't used to be black spots and you could get it, but you can go out there and you can still be connected. So actually green spaces are far more important. And our natural landscape is at a huge threat. Our biodiversity is at a huge threat in Wales. I know this week, in the last 7 days, there's been some new legislation put through, which is all about reversing all of that. So that's really exciting. Again, it just takes time, and I have seen all these different projects like Penavan and all the rest of it, where they're hiring wardens, they're hiring different people. You can see it's coming. It is coming. It just takes a bit of time with nature.
That's it. So with GreenWales, they're making sure these spaces aren't just left to, because you see them, they go overgrown, they're not used anymore, they're just vandalized. That's it.
Broken window syndrome again, isn't it?
Yeah, it's taking care of that. That's really important space for people. So they work with sort of the community to do that.
Where are they? Where are you sending me?
There is South Wales.
Okay, great. Because last week somebody sent me to North Wales. I was like, my God.
Yeah, South Wales space.
I think we go to North Wales end of May.
I'll connect you with them.
Yeah, please do. That would be amazing.
Because and just in general, they're such a great group as well. So they sort of, their charitableness extends even beyond the company. They do challenges for charity, things like that. So it's they just embody what it is to create good in the world sort of thing.
And I think when you live sustainably, that happens naturally over time. It just takes a little while when you start going down that journey, but when you start to see all the benefits, that challenge for them, it's going to have such a benefit to them personally, whether that's their fitness, their happiness, their impact, they're doing something. I think when you get into your 30s, you start to look for meaning, and you start to look for what is the point, what am I here to do, and that's where I've been a little bit, and I've been like, what am I actually here to achieve? And doing something like this makes me feel like I'm actually going out there, helping people embed the Future Generations Act. Hopefully then I try and help every single company I work with to sort of show that collaboration. You'll be part of a collective now. Hey. You're going to get a badge. Have I got my badge right here somewhere? I do. So I have a collect. So yeah, you become part of the collective.
Yeah.
I hate saying this.
Badge whenever I see someone like.
Are you part of like a little secret handshake for the collective? No, it's people who are genuinely doing the work, because there's a lot of green companies out there that are doing work, and some of them aren't as genuine as you'd wish they would be. So my part of my task is to find companies who are genuinely delivering there. Creating a collective where there is a quarterly newsletter. I hate saying the word newsletter, or else to call it. It's a place where everyone gets to sort of say the opportunities. So if you had a new project, you need volunteers, or you had material you wanted to get rid of. Your Coffee Flower's got a workshop coming up, so it's making people aware of all these things that are happening. So that's going to happen every quarter. So you're going to get part of that now. You get the signature pack and stuff like that as well. There's a little bit of consulting on top as a support, because I don't just present, I actually do this for a living as well, because I think it helps me speak sustainability in the first place. And you get, and just pick that little bit of dust off. I'll show the camera really quick. One of our new GreenWales badges. There you go. Oh, let's turn it on. I got one. I got one right there. I need to find it right now. That's fine. So we want to say thank you to the Community Impact Initiative. We think you're doing fantastic work here. I'm going to have a little tour. I haven't been around yet because we came in. I was like, it's cold. I'm going to get a bit shaky in a bit. So get a brew. I've warmed up my core, which is nice, but I get a bit shaky after a while because I get cold. So I was like, let's get the interview done straight away so that I haven't got to talk anymore after this. So hopefully we'll have a little tour maybe. I don't want to step on any toes or get in the way of anybody.
Yeah, we'll have a little tour now.
And maybe we'll see, was it Abby?
Yeah.
We'll see Abby as well. We'll see what's going on.
We'll find it.
The last thing we do is, so a couple of things before we finish. If you want to get in contact with you, if people want to collaborate, if you want to send you resource, if you want to fund you, if you just want to have a conversation, how do people get in touch? And we're going to hit all this everywhere around here.
There's a few. So we have our LinkedIn.
What would you type in?
The CII.
CII?
Or the Community Impact Initiative is our name.
Yeah.
You can find us on LinkedIn. We're also on Instagram, the CII UK, and we're also on Facebook, Community Impact Initiative, or the CII UK, whichever one comes up for you. And you can also go on our website, which is www.the-cii.org.
I'll have it all, yeah. I need you to say it, but they'll all be popping up, all right? It'll be a bit busy right now.
And on the website will be contacts for funding, social value, things like that. So if you go on our Support Us page, that's how you can sort of get in touch with partnership. I love that. And again, so with collaboration, if you've got a material that you might want to try and propose to put into a project, you can contact the guys with that. If there's any research about any type of research, the students at the PhD universities, you can tap these people up as well for learning about social value and about impacts on materials. You're the PhD students, not me. You know what you want to do out there. But I just think with universities, there's such an untapped free resource for research out there, which help projects like yourself. And any project that's happening. Service support is major for us.
There we go.
Whether it's well-being, mentoring, anything like that can make.
So the colleges as well, then, that's
make a better sort of opportunity for our participants.
And an experience, I guess, as well. Yeah, and the final thing I need to say is please subscribe to the channel, because the more of you that subscribe, the further this gets out and awareness gets bigger and the collaboration grows. So it's not about just me, it's about all the people I'm coming to interview. It's getting them out there, so the exposure, because what I hope is that government bodies, councils, they're all watching this. This is what I'm hoping for. And they're going, what an opportunity. This is great. And they're going to go, I'm going to contact these people because we all want a positive relationship. I'm a talk. So please subscribe. Please subscribe. I'm going to pin it up somewhere. Normally I point here and it just turns up, and then it disappears again. Real time is hilarious. Yeah, it's really good, isn't it? Yeah. Maybe I'll have it popping up all over the place. We'll see. Just for a laugh on this one. Graphics going. Oh my God. Right. Thank you one more time. And the last thing we do is we wave to camera and we say goodbye. Ready? Okay. 1, 2, 3. Bye.